Welcome to our channel. Today we're diving into a novel that will leave you reflecting on the courage, resilience, and sacrifices of those who serve in war, particularly the women who have often been left out of the historical narrative. Kristin Hanna's The Women is a poignant, gripping story set during the Vietnam War, but its impact resonates far beyond that era. This is a tale of identity, trauma, and the relentless pursuit of healing. So, let's immerse ourselves in Frankie McGrath's powerful journey. Imagine this. It's the 1960s, and the world is in turmoil. Civil rights movements, the counterculture revolution, and the Vietnam War are dominating headlines. Our protagonist, Frankie McGrath, is a young woman from a privileged background, expected to lead a conventional life, marriage, children, and the white picket fence. But Frankie has always been different. She's driven by a sense of duty and a desire to make a difference, something that's burning inside her. Her family dismisses her aspirations, expecting her to stay in her proper place. But Frankie's resolve is unwavering. Against all odds and societal expectations, she volunteers to serve as a nurse in Vietnam. Can you imagine the courage it took to make that decision? Leaving behind the comfort and safety of home to step into a war zone. This is where the first psychological hook comes in. The concept of breaking free from societal constraints. Frankie's decision challenges us to think about our own lives. How often do we stay within the lines drawn for us, instead of pursuing what truly resonates with our souls? When Frankie arrives in Vietnam, she's immediately thrust into the chaotic, harrowing reality of war. The narrative spares no detail. Hannah's vivid descriptions make you feel as if you're right there in the makeshift operating rooms, surrounded by the screams of the wounded, the smell of blood, and the constant thrum of helicopters overhead. This isn't the glorified version of war. It's raw, brutal, and unforgiving. Frankie's illusions are shattered as she faces death and destruction daily. She witnesses unspeakable horrors and performs surgeries with makeshift equipment, often racing against time to save lives. Here, Hannah taps into a key psychological trigger, the survival mode mindset. The way Frankie navigates this chaos, compartmentalizing her emotions to keep functioning, is something many of us can relate to, even if we haven't experienced war. We've all had moments where we've had to push through pain or fear to get through a crisis. Frankie's resilience in the face of such overwhelming adversity is both inspiring and heart-wrenching. As you listen, you might find yourself reflecting on your own battles, your own moments of resilience. And that's the power of Hannah's storytelling. It connects Frankie's extraordinary experiences to our everyday struggles. As time goes on, Frankie bonds with her fellow nurses and the soldiers she cares for. These friendships become her anchor, her lifeline. Each character in the novel is richly drawn, with their own dreams, fears, and reasons for being there. Through their stories, Hannah brings to light the often overlooked contributions of women in war. These are not side characters. They're integral to the narrative, representing the untold stories of countless women who served but were never acknowledged. This is where the novel introduces another powerful psychological theme: belonging and connection. In the midst of war, these bonds are not just comforting, they're essential for survival. However, the most challenging part of Frankie's journey begins when she returns home. She expects some form of acknowledgement, perhaps even gratitude, for her service. But instead, she faces a society that is deeply divided over the war and unprepared to deal with returning veterans, especially women. Imagine enduring the horrors of war, only to come home and be met with indifference or outright hostility. This sense of alienation is devastating. Frankie's struggles with post-traumatic stress disorder are depicted with unflinching honesty. Her sleepless nights, flashbacks, and feelings of isolation create a vivid portrait of the invisible wounds carried by many veterans. Hannah's portrayal of PTSD is not just realistic, it's necessary. It forces us to confront the long-term effects of war, which go far beyond the battlefield. For Frankie, the war doesn't end when she leaves Vietnam. It stays with her, impacting every aspect of her life. She tries to reintegrate into a society that doesn't understand her and doesn't want to. The stigma surrounding mental health and the lack of support for veterans, particularly women, is a harsh reality that Hannah boldly addresses. This part of the story is crucial because it challenges us, the readers and viewers, to rethink our perceptions of heroism and sacrifice. It's a reminder that the cost of war is not just measured in lives lost, but in the broken spirits of those who survive. As you listen, you might feel a sense of frustration or even anger on Frankie's behalf. This emotional response is intentional. Hannah wants us to feel the injustice, to question how we as a society treat those who have given so much. Yet, amidst all the darkness, there is a glimmer of hope. Frankie's journey is ultimately one of healing and self-discovery. She begins to confront her trauma, to speak out, and to reclaim her narrative. It's a powerful testament to the resilience of the human spirit, to the possibility of finding light even in the darkest of places. Hannah uses a psychological technique known as the hero's journey, where the protagonist undergoes transformation and emerges stronger, more self-aware. Frankie's evolution from a naive girl to a strong, resilient woman is both inspiring and deeply moving. So, what can we take away from this story? Beyond the historical context and the emotional depth, The Women is a call to recognize and honor the sacrifices of all veterans, to break the silence surrounding mental health, and to support those who carry the unseen scars of war. It's a story that stays with you, urging you to think, to empathize, and to act. As we close, think about Frankie's journey and what it means to you. Did it challenge your views on war and heroism? Did it inspire you to learn more about the experiences of women in history? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this summary compelling, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. We'd love to hear what book we should explore next. Thank you for watching, and remember, every story has the power to change us if we let it. Until next time, happy reading.